All right, let's bring in New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, who sits on the House Committee on Ways and Means. She joins us now. Congresswoman, good morning to you. Your reaction to what's unfolding out of UCLA and also what unfolded last night on the campus of Columbia.
Well, first, my hat off to the NYPD for doing an amazing job. They've been able to de-escalate the situation within 1 hour. They removed the agitators. And it's a shame that the university president took so long. When we were on the campus with Speaker Mike Johnson last week, we met with the university president. We warned that her negotiating with these students was not going to be a winning strategy, that she needed to use authority, and that she should have let the NYPD on campus sooner. But unfortunately, she'd allowed it to escalate. But glad there were no injuries and that our NYPD officers were safe. What I'll say is that, again, this is lawlessness that has been allowed to fester in this country. In New York, for example, there have been people arrested, but I'm sure by the time Americans are waking up this morning, they've been released back onto the street due to the radical bail laws of Governor Kathy Hochul and the Democrats who run our state, and to DAs like Alvin Bragg, who are more concerned with prosecuting President Trump. Everyone else gets reduced or dropped charges, and that's what's happening, and that's the reality that we face under Democrat-run governments at the city and state level. But I think that there's a larger issue here that we as members of Congress need to tackle. So much taxpayer money is going to these universities, and we need to look at stripping federal funding from those institutions that allow anti-Semitism to persist, that do not hold professors and staff and students accountable. And that is why I've introduced legislation a couple months ago that will do that. I hope the House will take up that legislation, as well as another bill that I authored that would strip visas from foreign students participating in this activity.
When you look at the funding for colleges, it makes absolute and total sense. The only problem for getting this through Congress is you have a Democratic Party that relies on the college vote, relies on the administration, faculty, and student vote for kind of like 90% of who makes them up. That's an exaggeration, but the overall point is that's going to be really tough to get through. Another point I'd like to make before I ask you my question is the New York DA seems to love to charge conspiracy when there isn't one, i.e. the Trump case. Maybe he should prepare conspiracy charges for what we're seeing on the streets of New York and in Los Angeles. But with regard to the federal response, you're talking about a legislative response that follows the money. What do you want to see our armed Fed response be? Should we have the National Guard come out in these states? Should Joe Biden mobilize, I don't know, the Army or some type of larger body to get into these universities and put a stop to this? Because as Carly said earlier, this is not America. The scenes in Columbia, the scenes in UCLA, this isn't America and can't be America going forward, Congresswoman.
Yeah, certainly where we've seen violence, those images from UCLA with people using bats, that is a situation where the National Guard should have been called immediately. NYPD in New York should have been allowed on the campus earlier on. The issue that we have is that a lot of what the news is reporting is it's actually worse when you actually talk to the students that are on the campus. The campus, the students at Columbia told us straight out, they were spat on, they were assaulted, there were racial slurs that were being used against them, that there was some serious issues there, swastikas on the campus. They should not be subjected to this type of anti-Semitism. So we need to also look at the ties. These student organizations, do they have terrorist associations? Are they being funded by foreign entities? As a member of Ways and Means, one of the things we're looking at are these nonprofit organizations that are receiving foreign money. We need to crack down on this foreign money that is infiltrating our country. Is it coming from terrorist organizations, they're coming from the CCP. And also what I'm going to be doing is introducing legislation that would prohibit these nonprofits that receive foreign funding from being able to have an affiliated PAC that goes out and does this type of activity and influences, quite frankly, our elections. If we can't receive foreign money, why are these nonprofits that receive foreign money allowed to have affiliated PACs? So that's something that we're also looking at. But this is a time to really get to the bottom of what's going on here with regards to funding, with regards to terrorist ties, with regards to these organizations that have received tax benefits tax benefits from the government, from the taxpayers, and then in turn are committing these anti-American, anti-Semitic activities and indoctrination of our young students across America.
Congresswoman, Columbia University classics professor, his name is Joseph Howley. He released a statement last night, and he said that Columbia's faculty says, in part, that they hold university leadership responsible for this moment, and that leadership will bear responsibility for any injuries that may occur during any police action. He doesn't want police on campus. He also said, in part, NYPD presence in our neighborhood endangers our entire community. Armed police entering our campus places students and everyone else on campus at risk. I know that there's been a lot of criticism when it comes to Columbia University's president, but given that statement and the pressures on her, is she really the problem here?
Well, I think she's a weak leader. I've called for a resignation because she allowed this to fester and escalate. As soon as she took the stand that she was going to negotiate with these students and not use her authority as an administrator to just implement the rules, expel and suspend the students that were participating in this chaos and the anti-Semitism, she failed to protect her students and keep them safe. What I will also say is it's very troubling, some of the rhetoric that we've seen from, or we've heard from the professors, right? Some have praised openly Hamas, Hezbollah. One was actually hired after taking to social media following the October 7th attack, praising Hamas and Hezbollah. So why are individuals like that teaching our young people? I will also say that, look, what you're hearing from some of those professors, I mean, it's the likes of what AOC and others socialists are saying. That is the socialist Marxist belief. They are anti-police. They are the same people who were in charge of the defund police movement across America in the summer of 2020. They don't believe in authority. They don't believe in rules and laws and accountability. They believe in just they believe in lawlessness. And that is part of the problem. And this is what the Democrat left wing believes in. They are anti-police. They are pro-socialism, pro-Marxist. And sadly, the far left is also pro-Hamas, pro-terrorism.
Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, we appreciate your time this morning and your insight on this. Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.